It started in August 1977, in a quiet suburban home at 284 Green Street in Enfield, North London. What seemed like an ordinary council house became the center of one of the most famous poltergeist cases in history. The Hodgson family, single, Mother Peggy and her 4 children, had no idea their lives were about to be consumed by something terrifying. It began with strange noises. Scratching sounds echoed through the walls at night, then heavy thuds as if furniture was being thrown across the rooms. The 2 youngest children, Janet and Margaret, were the first to witness objects moving on their own. Chairs slid across the floor, toys flew through the air. Then came the voices. Janet, an 11-year-old girl, started speaking in a guttural, rasping tone, a voice that didn't belong to her. "My name is Bill," it growled, claiming to be the spirit of a man who had died in the house. The voice spoke with knowledge beyond Janet's years, revealing details about the previous tenant, Bill Wilkins, a man who had died in the house from a brain hemorrhage. Skeptics dismissed it as a hoax, but investigators were not so sure. The story gained national attention when paranormal researchers Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair from the Society for Psychical Research arrived at the scene. They documented furniture tipping over, chilling cold spots, and even Janet levitating off the ground. Neighbors and journalists swore they saw her thrown across the room by an unseen force. Even police officers called in to investigate disturbances witnessed heavy furniture moving on its own, well beyond what any child could have done. Photographs taken inside the house show Janet appearing to be flung from her bed by an invisible entity, her face contorted in fear. Yet not everyone was convinced. Skeptics argued that Janet and Margaret were orchestrating an elaborate prank, pointing to moments where they were caught faking activity. Janet herself later admitted that some incidents had been exaggerated, but she maintained that the core experiences were real. The disturbances went on for 2 years, driving the family to the brink of despair. Exorcisms were attempted, but the activity persisted. Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. Janet grew older, moved away, and the house fell silent. But the legend of the Enfield Poltergeist endured, inspiring books, documentaries, and even horror films like The Conjuring 2. Was it real? A genuine case of paranormal activity, or the elaborate pranks of frightened children craving attention? Decades later, the Enfield Poltergeist remains one of the most debated hauntings in history. Perhaps the only ones who truly know the answer are those who lived through the nightmare at 284 Green Street.